Friends in Recovery, the Addiction Recovery Podcast, is brought to you by the Friends in Recovery community, a thriving network of individuals who are fighting back against the stigma of addiction. Join our hosts as they speak up about the real issues of addiction, treatment, and recovery. Friends in Recovery, the Addiction Recovery Podcast, is available on Facebook, Podbean, iTunes, and YouTube 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Now, here are your Friends in Recovery.
Welcome, everybody, to the Friends in Recovery podcast with Jersey Ed. I'm your host, Jersey Ed, I guess. They tell me anyways. And somebody's crazy enough to give me a show, I'll just say I'm Jersey Ed and fucking run the show. So who cares?
There you go.
That's right. Hey, Beth, how's it going?
Hey.
So this show is going to be totally fucked up. It's going to be I feel sorry for Maggie, our guest, because she's not going to get the real, good show because we don't even know what we're doing. I've been doing the show for 5 years, right? And Bambi's on here and she just runs everything for us, right? I mean,
100%.
She's not here today.
She's not here today.
I know. I want to,
the pressure is real. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it. I'm not even safe in my basement.
So Bambi's attending to some personal stuff going on. She just said hello. She wants to say hello to everybody on Facebook, and she said, "Do not give her any purple hearts."
Yes, she definitely said that.
Yeah,
no
she
purple
did.
Hearts
Yes,
today.
Absolutely. So don't give her any purple hearts, guys. I just want to remind everybody, right? It is Higher Power Inspiration Month, right? We didn't talk about that last week because we had our fucking boxing gloves on and we were ready to go. That was a good show last week, guys.
It was interesting.
It was interesting, yes. But yeah, so it's Higher Power Inspiration Month, which we're going to try to kind of incorporate into this interview with Maggie and Iron Wolf. And if you want to get involved with the conversation, if you want to call us right now, call us at 800-989-6504. And I can take a question from you. I never did it before, but give us a call. Or if you just want to give us a call and leave us a message and say hello, or if you have any non-emergency information you want to pass along to us, call that number. Email is help@friendsinrecoverypodcast.com. And our website is friendsinrecoverycommunity.org. Beth and I, you'll see our emails right there below us. And just give us, there it is, Beth. Just give us a private email if you want. And let's see. You can find all our emails in our show notes. Also, see, I told you this is going all wrong. It's going all wrong.
Great. We're doing great.
I feel like it's going really well. It's going really well.
All right.
Yeah.
So the guest is telling us it's going really well.
The guest is happy.
Yeah, Maggie, just take the show over. I mean, you want to run it for us, and you can interview us. Guys, speaking of hearts, Bambi is purple hearts. Beth, orange hearts, soon to be black. I think we're gonna call her Basement Beth and give her black hearts. So this will be the last week of orange hearts. Jersey Ed's blue hearts, and our guest Maggie picked green hearts today, guys. So let's see a bunch of green hearts for our guest Maggie out there. So I'd like to thank all the donors who made this show possible. Thank you guys for donating. Without it, we couldn't do it. Without you guys, we couldn't do it. To make a donation, go to our website, friendsinrecoverycommunity.org. Click on one of the ways to donate on there, and we appreciate that. Also, if you're an artist or doing a podcast and you want to get on our website, we will promote you in our Fire Network. So please go to the website and check out Fire Network, and we will put you on there. And we'll promote your podcast or whatever you have going on, or send an email to Carl over at Soberpod, info@soberpod.com. And he will also talk to you about that. Today's guest is Maggie Tolucci from Iron Wolf Recovery. So stay tuned for some amazing recovery with Maggie, because God knows this is going south right here. So maybe she'll bump the show up a little.
Yourself. You're doing good, Ed.
I know. So ladies, it's sober shout out time. And I got a cool story. Okay. With, it's Higher Power Inspiration Month. And I had both of these in this shout out that I'm going to give in a minute. I'll let you guys go first. and we'll go into some sober shout outs. Of course, the old standard sober shout out before I turn it over to you ladies is Carl and Chelsea at Soberpod. We love you guys. Please check out Soberpod, everybody. I urge you to go over to the left, right? Not to the right, to the left. That's what they are. And come to the right for Friends in Recovery. Ooh.
There's some dark side going on. I don't know.
So they're in California, though, right? They're in California.
Oh, yeah.
Speaking of the left, here's John. He just showed up.
Uh-oh. Hey, John. Greetings.
Anyways, so just go check out Soberpod. Ladies, I'm going to start with our guest. Maggie, do you have any sober shout outs for us today?
Yeah, I think I'd like to recognize the entire Iron Wolf team. We've got Jeremy Albrook, and he is about 18 months, and he's doing fantastic. We've got Mackenzie Brooks. She handles the LGBTQ plus division, and she's got about the same amount of time. And then the rest of our team, who's either in eating disorder recovery or mental health recovery, the entire crew.
All right, the entire crew at Iron Wolf. Now, I say wolf, you say wolf, right? Say wolf. Like, say wolf. Yeah, see, like, that's so weird. Like wolf, I say. Like, it's like a Jersey thing, I guess. Like coffee, you know?
What are you not saying meow?
Wolf.
Wolf. That's what they say. That's not what they are.
Wolf. She says WOF.
You say.
Well, I am from Baltimore. I mean, we're not crazy far from Jersey. But,
true. That's true. That's true.
But the accent is definitely different.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So Iron Wolf. Hello, guys. Shout out from Maggie. All right, Beth, go ahead.
Let's see. I have
fuck up the show even more, right?
No, God, man. I have a shout out to the x-ray that we're going to take on Thursday. Everybody put positive energy into my foot.
Yes.
That I can get a boot and then I don't have to have surgery. That's my sober shout out, is to the future.
To the future. How about to the doctors that they stay sober when they do your x-ray?
When they do my x-ray.
So yes. So we encourage the doctors to come to Friends in Recovery before they x-ray Beth. Okay. That's good. That's a good shout out. So besides the Carl and Chelsea and Soberpod thing, guys, and I gotta give a sober shout out to Refuse to Sink, Abby over at Refuse to Sink. Now you're asking me what Refuse to Sink is.
What's Refuse to Sink?
There you go. Thank you, Beth. You got this. You got this. Only took you 8 months, but you got it. Refuse to Sink is a nonprofit organization that helps families and makes suicide. It has suicide prevention, suicide awareness. They raise funds for suicide and all that. So here's the story. I don't know who she was. Sunday morning at 8:00, I jump in my 8:30. I jump in my car. I'm going to church. I turn on Joel Osteen, and there's a talk show going on. It wasn't yet his sermon, and he was taking calls. And this woman from Florida, Abby, starts talking about Refuse to Sink, how she lost her son to suicide, and just went on and on and on. And I'm like, something was urging me to Google that. And I Googled it, and her and I got together. She really thinks that we can really work together as far as Friends in Recovery and Refuse to Sink. She really loves what we're doing. I know. And I love what they're doing. We're going to get together. We're going to meet and we're going to talk, see how far we can go with this. But guys, that's what being out there, thinking with an open mind and not keeping those, kind of restrictions on me anyways. When I was drinking, I went to the bar, I went to the Coke dealer, I went home, and maybe to jail once in a while in between. Right. That's all I did, but now today I can keep an open mind, today I can be okay with telling people I go to church and I listen to, Joel Osteen on a radio, whatever it is, I'm okay with it. And if you don't like it, that's okay. That's your opinion, not mine. So having that open mind and being okay with all this is what I found out. So I hope we're going to help thousands and thousands of people because of this. I don't know, but that's my thought on it. So
we can try.
Yeah, refuse to sink. Yeah, refuse to sink.com or .org. Just Google refuse to sink and look for Abby, and she'll be on there. Reach out to them if you can, if you want. Also, don't forget about our daily AA meetings on Zoom. You can find them on the website. Also, please go on all our social media, like us, friend us. I don't know, just don't get naked in front of us. And it's Friends in Recovery communities. You can search all of our stuff on there. Bambi will definitely 100% knock your post off if you do get naked in front of us. And don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and give us a 5-star review somewhere. I don't know where the 5-star review would be given, but just pick it out or you can send us a letter. Send us a letter with 5 stars to the P.O. box, right?
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know because Bambi confused me last week, Beth, because she said there's no 5-star reviews anymore.
No, there is. There's just one platform, and it's the only platform that you look at that doesn't do 5-star reviews.
Oh, that's right. YouTube.
YouTube. It doesn't. YouTube doesn't do reviews. So, and that's the only one you look at. It's
okay, just give us 5 stars. Okay, all right. Just go on any of the social media. Maggie's probably like, "What is this dude talking about?" Like, I just met him last. I'm sorry.
When I think of 5-star reviews, I think of Google. I don't know anywhere else you can do 5-star reviews. Like, I just think of Google 5 stars.
See? There you go. All right. See, I'm not the only crazy one. So, anyway, so you know what time it is, Beth.
It's question of the week.
Question of the week. There it is, guys. Question of the week.
Question of the
week is because it's Higher Power Inspiration Month. So Beth came up with a bunch of questions for Higher Power Inspiration Month. So our question of the week is: what has your higher power inspired you to do in life? What has your higher power inspired you to do in your life? I'm going to start with our guest, Maggie. What is your higher power inspired you to do with your life?
So
if you have an answer to that.
I do. Yeah. I think for me, with my higher power, I guess I'll say, has really helped me to find my purpose and just a deeper sense of meaning, which ultimately is, an incredibly important aspect of my own approach to recovery. So I think that would be my answer.
All right.
A deeper sense of meaning and my purpose.
I love it. Deeper sense of meaning and purpose. Okay. Beth, pop that. Told you she was smart. I told you. You didn't listen.
I feel like my higher power, like anytime I have to leave the house, honestly, like I know it's funny, but like for real, like if I could just stay in my basement with my black hearts, I would. And so anytime you see me outside of the house, it's God inspiring me to move, to breathe, to reach out, talk. Yeah. And then, the fact that I have a job in marketing.
Yeah, that completely baffles me. You don't want to leave your basement. You don't want to talk to anybody. You get in these deep, dark holes and you do business development and you talk on a podcast.
I do. I don't know. This is all inspired by God. God moves me.
There you go.
Left to my own devices, I am dangerously antisocial. So God is good. I actually just got yelled at right before this podcast because a friend of mine, like, you don't call me back and I need you to, be in contact. And I'm like, yeah, dude, I'm in a hole. I haven't left my room in 5 days. I have a broken foot. You're just gonna have to wait. All right. I'm doing all I can. I'm in it. Anyway. Yeah.
That's good. That's
God
good.
Has inspired me to live.
Yep. Inspired you to live. I love it. I love it. So we have inspired to live, deep sense of meaning and purpose. And guys, I think my higher power I call God is I have to agree with you, Beth, is to live, is God gave me a new sense of being daily. I should say, my higher power gave me a new sense of being daily. Because when I wake up sober and I do the right thing, I'm very inspired. I'm very inspired and to help people daily, because it is a grind out here. It's tough. You know, families that don't call you back or whatever the case may be. All three of us can relate to all this. And then you just connect to one of those people and you can get them help, whatever it is. If they come on a meeting, if they go into treatment, if they listen to podcasts, if they go to, to the gym and work out, whatever it is.
Yep.
It is very inspiring. And you know what? That's not me working. That's my higher power working. Because if it was,
100%.
I'd be in a basement with you, Beth. Seriously, I would be.
Me too. Me too.
So Neil Tucker actually came on to Facebook Live to say hi, and that God has helped him to slow and eliminate karma. And I think that's hilarious, but I don't know if he's serious.
No, he's serious.
Oh,
Neil, I love Neil. Neil's a good guy. Yes, absolutely, 100%. Neil is that's true. Slow down and eliminate karma. Yes. And we will have Neil on the show one day. He's been on the show already. But he's a good friend of Friends in Recovery. So thanks, Neil. All right, guys. So that was the question of the week. I think we did pretty good through all that without Bambi. And I know we always do. We do good no matter what. So just that's
did we do a shout out for Bambi?
No. Oh shit.
I want to shout out for Bambi.
Yes.
Shout out for Bambi, for Buckeye Bambi, because fuck all kiss getting done while she's not here.
That's right.
And we've just proven to ourselves yet again that without Bambi, we're just two old people who can't do shit.
That's right.
Maggie. We're sorry, Maggie. Anyway, we love you, Bambi.
I really think you guys are doing fantastic.
Listen, we have to say that. Beth and I talked about that because we want to make Bambi feel important. That's why we have to say that.
Well, Bambi is important.
Yes, she is. She is. We're all important. So, but the most important person on the show right now is you, Maggie, because you are our guest, and me and Beth are sick of fucking talking. So I'm going to have you talk for the rest of the show. No, guys, Maggie from Iron Wolf is joining us from Charleston, South Carolina. Iron Wolf Fitness, Recovery Fitness. I met Maggie, I don't know, at a bridge walk, the Ravenel Bridge Walk, and somebody said, go see her over there. I'm like, who, where? Somebody from Iron Wolf. And then, she's over there. She put this whole bridge walk thing together, and she was just like nonstop. There were speakers. There was all kinds of things going on. She raised money. There was like 1 billion people walking the bridge, and it was just amazing. It really was. It really was. And when I finally was able to stop her for like 30 seconds, she gave me her card, and then she went on her way and probably didn't even remember me until I bugged the shit out of her and started calling her. And now she's on the show. So Maggie, you do amazing things for our community. Thank you so much. Charleston is honored to have you as as somebody in recovery, but you take it even a little further. I want to know about, a little bit about who you are and what Iron Wolf is, if you can just give us a little about who you are and why you're here.
All right. Well, thank you so much for that. I appreciate it. I am a person in long-term recovery. And so for me, that means I've been free from all illicit and non-prescribed mood and mind-altering substances since May 7th of 2017.
All right.
Yay! My primary substances were drugs. Alcohol was just kind of peppered in there some. But for me, dealing with post-acute withdrawal, and just being deeply uncomfortable in my own skin, especially in early recovery. The only time that I truly felt relief from that was when I was moving. Mm-hmm. And so Iron Wolf was sort of born out of that. The power, I very early on learned the power of movement and how that it helped me with mental health. It helped me physically, it helped all areas of wellness.
Okay.
And so
So you're talking about power of movement. Is that like, do you have to lift weights? Because I see a barbell. Maggie's actually traveling somewhere, so she can't put her picture, her face up, her camera on. And so I think that's what you kids call it today, right? Your camera. So she's traveling. So she has her little logo up here. But if you're not on YouTube, it's a wolf with some barbells kind of hanging over its head. And so the power of movement, like kind of what does that mean? Like, does it mean yoga? Does it lift weights? Does it mean walking from the couch to the refrigerator to get an ice cream? I mean, talk to me about the power of movement.
I think, it can be really anything. I mean, we're all so different in what, I mean, I know you've talked about how running has been very important for you. I personally am not a runner. So weightlifting, Olympic weightlifting, CrossFit, walking, I enjoy walking, hiking, kayaking, all of those things. For me, it's getting my heart rate up. Getting into the present moment, not thinking about the past or the future, being right here, right now. And during any sort of physical activity, that helps me. And I know so many others come into the present moment and do other things too. I mean, it challenges ourselves. We learn, we build resiliency when we sit through a challenging workout, when we move through a challenging workout and then show ourselves, oh, hey, I can do that. Then we start believing in ourselves in other areas of our lives. So for Iron Wolf, we have, a total body workout class, but then we also have a yoga class. We have a Qigong / meditation class, and we're going to be starting.
Neil. Neil's going to make a comment on that one. Sorry, go ahead. Qigong, go ahead.
And then we'll be starting another total body workout class. So those are the classes that I coach, are the total body workout. And then we've got our yoga instructor and our Qigong meditation instructor. So really any sort of movement that appeals to people. Some of our yogis aren't into functional fitness and vice versa, and that's okay. So we're strive to have all different options for folks.
Now, you're talking yoga, and I mean, you're talking another language to some people. Let's be honest. Beth, correct? Is she she's kind of talking the Japanese right now to you?
Well, I've done CrossFit, and I used to be a yogi. Not so much anymore.
Okay.
Yeah, since I went back to work, but I'm like you. I don't like running. I can't.
It's a challenge for me. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, my fastest was like 11-minute mile or maybe a 10-minute mile. Like, that's just sad. Like, it's
that's
just
okay.
Sad.
No, that's
like, I can't. No. I just don't, But anyway, my husband actually is a big CrossFit guy. He does CrossFit, I want to say 6 days a week.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he actually, so it's interesting. I'm so glad that you came on this month with like higher power inspiration, because so my husband is sober and he doesn't really do a mode of recovery, but he finds his spiritual connection through Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and CrossFit, and that's what keeps him. Yeah, that's what keeps him kind of moving. Could not be more opposite than his wife, but but yeah, can you talk a little bit more? I'd love to hear more about how the movement keeps you connected in the present moment. Like what is that? Because I do not experience that in any way, shape, or form. I find a totally different path, but my husband does. So, and he's also a super geek, so he doesn't talk. So can you explain that?
I sure can. So for me, I mean, I certainly can't speak for everybody, but for me, it is typically talking myself through a workout. Every time I walk up to the barbell, and people think I'm crazy when I say this, but every time I walk up to the barbell, I still, all these years later, have a voice in my head that tells me I'm going to fail. And so pushing through that and yeah, I mean, I coach it. I was initially introduced to CrossFit in 2009, but I couldn't stay sober long enough to stick with it. But so, I mean, I've been involved in that style of fitness for a long time, and I still have to push through that negative self-talk. Now it's gotten better and I've come a long way, but that forces me to be in the here and now and really, I don't want to say be alone with myself, but just, be with myself. And so that's a big one for me. And then also too, when doing things like when I have to run, I will say that is very grounding because, you've got the bilateral movement, which is super grounding anyway, left, right, left, right. That is super grounding and really brings me into the present moment. Although when I do run, it's typically less than a half mile.
Nice. I relate.
It's like, oh my gosh. But that's what it is for me is I'm alone with myself and I have to keep talking myself through workouts, especially very challenging ones where you really need to push yourself through it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I agree with you on that because when I run, especially my long runs, I have to be grounded. I have to have a higher power on my side because it's like, like in halfway through like a 16-mile run on Sundays, 15-mile run on Sundays, I'm like, God, you got to help me get back. Seriously, like if you cannot, you have to stay in that moment. You have to be comfortable. You have to relax. You have to just understand. I'm sure that goes with any exercise because you're right there now. Weights, especially, you don't want to drop them on your toe or your head or whatever. I mean, you have to be in that moment. You can't be thinking of, oh my God, did I pass the test? Did I fail the exam? Did I do this? Did I do that? So yeah, I can understand 100%, Maggie, why fitness keeps us in the moment. Now, obviously we can't do workouts 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I mean, that's where our program comes in. That's where I think you and I were talking about it, Maggie, last week. That's where our program comes in. Because if you get injured, especially when you're working out and that gets pulled out from underneath you and that's your whole life, you're screwed. You know what I mean? So you have to have a little bit of balance of everything. Thank God I haven't ran since December, since Bob's on here. Bob Moore. He said moving is medicine. Yes, it is.
Oh, yes, it is.
And but you can't pull, once that's pulled out from underneath you, you have to have other things to do, you know what I mean? And that's something that I understand 100%, that is so important as much as fitness is important, but there's recovery, there's meetings, there's sponsorship, there's everything else plugs into it, work, family, you name it. So I just want to give a quick shout out here while we're talking about it. I have Bob up here. I'm not sure if he's here, but Bob is a guy who ran 3 weeks ago a 24-hour run in the car dealership on a treadmill for
this is Bob.
This is Bob. Yeah, this is him.
Oh, so, Bob, you're our hero.
Yeah, seriously. Wow.
Yeah.
That's great, Bob.
Yeah. So Maggie, he offered to come to Charleston. I know we're getting off the subject here, but he offered to come to Charleston in June and run around the lake that I live in, and for 24 hours and I raise money for Friends in Recovery or whatever, but something we're trying to get together. So I'll keep you posted on that, but that's the Bob that's here.
Meet him. Okay.
Yeah. So this perfect show for Bob to be here. Bob also does 200-mile races, 100-mile races. I had the honor to do a 200 K, I think, with him, not run it, but I was his crew. We crewed it all across Florida. We were in the middle of the what the heck, it was the Alligator Alley, in the middle of the night, running through these roads. It was insane. It was crazy insane. There was so many bugs in front of you. It was like the car was covered with bugs. When you breathe, you were sucking in bugs. But this is that he does. He ran this 200K, and I was blessed to be there with him and help him get through it. So, but and that's fitness to Bob is really important too. And he is just an amazing guy. And also, guys, 2 weeks or a week later, he had prostate cancer. He had to go in for an operation, right? And he called me the other day. Him and I were talking. He's out walking a couple miles here and there now. So he's just an amazing guy. Bob, we love you and thank you for being on the show. Maggie, I'm sorry I did that, but no,
that's fine.
This is perfect. I mean, I never see Bob on the show, once in a while, but what an amazing, higher power working, huh? Let's be serious,
Absolutely.
So fitness and recovery and all that stuff, Maggie. Let me ask you, let's take a step back. Were you, like you said, 2004 or 2000, whatever you started, but were you into fitness before you got into recovery?
So if I am totally honest with myself, I started using drugs and alcohol when I was 13, and I sobered up. I have 2 children. I sobered up during both pregnancies, and this was between pregnancies, and I was having a hard time with drinking and drugging, and still hadn't admitted that I had a problem. And I a few times attempted to switch addictions and just go to the gym, right? And this is kind of what we were talking about when we spoke last week, Ed, about having other tools in our toolbox. So yes, I was involved with fitness, but not heavily, because I was still using. So it might be a week here, 2 weeks there, whatever. It wasn't until I got sober that I was able to remain consistent with it, and then really see like the magical benefits of living an active lifestyle. But again, the fitness is one tool in my toolbox today. It's a very important tool, but I'm able to combine spirituality with fitness. I do oftentimes meditate while I'm working out. Especially if it's a challenging workout, I have to go somewhere else for a minute.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely. That is true.
Yeah.
Maggie, I always, one thing that, like I do a lot of meditation in the morning, I do whatever it is in the morning, but, I do some deep breathing and all that. But you know what, these challenges, like, that you're talking about, my running, Bob's 24-hour run, guys, we're not doing it forever. Right. But we need that push to get through it. We need whatever that push is to push us through it. Now, Bob ran 24 hours in a month, in a day, and he has the rest of his life, but that challenge is hard at the time. Right. But because I think we can only see what's in front of us, right? We don't, we have to kind of stay in the moment to get through it, but there'll be an end to it. Like you, Maggie, when you're stuck to a barbell, might be really heavy, whatever it is. I've never entered that world. So, but whatever your thoughts are on that, but I think the same way. And I know, like, I can understand you and Bob's mindset when we walk into that, that 24-hour race or that barbell or that 15-mile run. It's going to be over, right? But we just have to push through it. We have to think of everything we can and ask all the power we have to move through that. The thing when we were using, I had never seen an end to it, right? There was never an end.
Yeah.
There was never nothing, right? I didn't even know if there was going to be an end. Now I understand there's an end to everything. There's an end to our workouts. There's an end to whatever, we moved. There was an end to the house that we used to live in. There was an end to my other job that I used to work at, but when you're in it, you don't see it, and especially with recovery, it's nice to know that change can happen. Like you said, Maggie. And I like what also you said you got sober, or no, when you were not sober, you weren't consistent. And let me ask you, were you consistent at anything in life when you were using? If that's an okay question to ask.
No, and I think the hardest aspect, if I'm brutally honest, is I look back and, just how I was, a very, my mothering, I wasn't present, sometimes not physically, but definitely not emotionally. I wasn't present until I got sober. And so, no, to answer your question, I don't think I was ever really consistent with anything when I was using. No, recovery has taught me that. Has taught me discipline, has taught me consistency and integrity, so many things.
Do you work out every day?
No. So that's actually another really, I'm glad that you asked that. That's another really important piece and message that we try to push through Iron Wolf, is that one of the amazing things about recovery is, we get the opportunity to learn to listen to our bodies. If I worked out every day, I would feel like trash. Like my body just would not feel great. So I CrossFit maybe 3 days a week.
Okay.
I weight lift 2, and then I do 2 active recovery days. Sometimes, the numbers are a little bit different, but I do 1 to 2 active recovery, which means I like slow jog and stretch, or I'll do yoga, or I still move. I personally, in the morning, I have to move. It's part of how I connect. So some sort of movement, but it doesn't always have to be high intensity, because I mean, I'm approaching 40. I don't recover as quick as I used to. And I hear you laughing over there.
I'll trade places.
I will trade places in a heartbeat.
Yeah. But it's true though. I mean, I'm not 20. I'm not, it's been really an amazing opportunity for me to learn how to listen to my body and take care of my body and learn the different ways to do that in order to be well for the workouts. So
that's amazing. So do you have to be in recovery to join Recovery Fitness?
So I'm co-founder of Iron Wolf, and the other co-founder, Courtney, is in eating disorder recovery. And so our meetings are open to, our primary population is substance use disorder recovery, but we've got eating disorder recovery and we've got some mental health recovery too. We also have a few people that are involved that are recovery advocates, and meaning they have a loved one that's either in active addiction or in recovery, and they love what this is, and they are cheering us on. So recovery cheerleaders. So think Al-Anon. That would probably be a 12-step way to describe it. We're an open meeting.
So I'm hearing meeting and group. Like, are you doing like recovery meetings, or are you doing work?
Yeah,
I'm
good
confused.
Yeah. Okay, so we do both. So our model, our model is different. There's a couple of other organizations that are similar. However, what we really like about what we're doing, and which makes us a little bit different, is that we combine a meeting followed by a workout, and it's an all recovery meeting. So we're not aligned with any one pathway. We're not 12-step. We're not, we're not aligned with any pathway. It's all recovery. You can identify as whatever you want. It's just a general wellness topic too. So yesterday we talked about self-care and what that looked like. So that's for 20 minutes and then 40 minutes of movement. So 40 minutes of either the Qigong. Right.
Even me.
It's nice.
I would come out of the basement for this. This sounds very cool.
It is. It's really cool.
Maggie,
Maggie, can you tell everybody, and then there's a lot goes on. You have the meetings, you have the workout, you have all that, you have all these instructors. Can you please go over the price structure with everybody for this?
Well, this is free. So
I know, right?
What?
Huh? I know.
It's free. So we have been able to grow and run this thing, and talk about higher power. We have been able to grow and run this thing on a very small budget. And that is absolutely amazing. So I had to sell my house to go to treatment, but I look back and I'm like, I had a house to sell. What about the people out there that don't have a house to sell, and they're not going to treatment? They're not getting help. Like, my ass had to be locked up for 90 days because I was batshit crazy. And I don't know what I would have done if I didn't have the house to sell to go to treatment. So we're not a treatment center, of course, but putting the good into the world, talk about good karma, putting good into the world. We want to keep this program free. We are a supportive community. We're open to just about anybody. And, most of our meetings are I'm a peer support specialist. Most of our meetings are facilitated by peer support.
Now this is not on a Zoom. It's these classes are in person, correct?
These are in person. We have talked about starting Zoom because we've more recently had folks that are out of town, and they're like, oh, well, could we Zoom in sometime? And just logistically, I mean, honestly, I'd be fine setting up my phone. Doing that.
Why not? Yeah, why not?
I mean, but we're talking to, so we are in Charleston. Our main location is at CrossFit Box Den. A dear friend of mine owns that space, and he allows us to use it weekly. And the other space we run out of is Healing Hara Massage and Wellness. She's also a dear friend, and they allow us to utilize the space. And we're talking to a gym in Beaufort. So we're in Charleston, but we're talking to a gym in Beaufort about maybe starting there and, expanding our services, getting more folks the support, teaching them that movement is such an important piece of recovery.
Absolutely. Now, Meg, you're bringing up, you're actually getting out to Buford's about 2 hours south of Charleston. I mean, we have a lot of people on here. Real quick, Bob Moore, he just said, when you're at the point of quitting the workout, the run, etc., we have to remember we get to do this, right? We get to do this. It brings us happiness and joy. And you said, I got to sell my house, that's so true. We get to do this. Our higher power works in amazing ways. But we have a lot of people that, Bob's a runner. I'm a runner. I think Joe says he runs to the refrigerator back. Yep. Welcome to, hey, Joe, good to see you around. But we have some people who are in, a lot into fitness. What if somebody wants to start this in their own gym or knows a gym owner in, I don't know, Toledo, Ohio, or I don't know, Bedford, Massachusetts? Would you be open to do that? I mean, is there talks about that you can do this?
Absolutely. And we're actually talking with some folks up in New Hampshire. So we are in a position to expand. The first step would be just to shoot an email over to info@ironwolfrecovery.org and get a conversation started and see where it takes us. Okay.
I know Bambi will get that in the notes.
Yeah. We'll get Bambi to put that in notes. But so there is room for growth. There is, this is wonderful. I've never heard of this before until I met you. And I didn't quite understand it until you and I, talked a little bit more in detail, because like free and working out, and most gyms want to take your money every month, debit, take it from your debit card automatically. And, so, but
money.
Yeah. And you're offering a meeting on top of it all, it's amazing.
I think it's really cool that like, there's a 20-minute, meeting. Like I don't really like going to the gym. It's not my thing, but it's like, I don't know, for some reason, like sitting and talking to people for 20 minutes before, like in a structure, I don't know why that seems so like easing into it. I don't know. Am I crazy? I don't know.
No, actually, I was just going to say, we've talked to so many other people that feel the same exact way, which is really why we have decided to keep the meeting there. And plus, I mean, I think it's just really good. It's like the meeting of the minds, before you get moving. But I think it does, especially folks that are involved in 12-step support, it offers this like extra level of comfort. They're like, oh, a meeting's there. Okay, I can walk into this CrossFit space because I'm familiar with that. And then it's amazing because then they do a workout and afterwards everybody has said the same thing. I'm surprised I could do that. I'm like, well, no shit, really, anybody can do this. Like anybody can do this. It's our egos. It's our egos that tell us we need to be flipping tires and we need to be doing all this, and more power to you if that's what you do. But, my mom, who is 65 and had her hip replaced, she does this. Like it's accessible to anyone. Yeah. I actually work with treatment centers as well. So even folks that are still, on a taper and in very early recovery, they have a much more gentle experience, but they still get their heart rates up. They still get moving. And really, it's accessible to all.
Guys, and Maggie, I'm going to kind of wind up here in a second, but sure. It's like recovery. It's like anything. You have to change your mind. You have to be open to things. You have to be willing. I remember being, in the treatment center and somebody saying, oh, you have to try this or what. I'm like, no, I don't want to try this. I don't want to be here. You know what I mean? So, as we grow through things, and I like the idea of the meeting before the workout, because I'll go to the meeting, but I'm not going to the weight thing. I have flabby arms and I don't look good in spandex, which I don't, but, but, I can see what happens is that they come to the meeting and then that group, he or she becomes part of that group. You share, right? I mean, you just become one. Now this alone thing, this thing in your head that you can't lift weights or whatever, as you're sharing, the burden becomes lifted off of self and onto others. And And then it seems like others will help you into that and kind of move through it. I just had a similar experience with Bob. Bob's on here. This is perfect. Him and I ran the last marathon I was running, half marathon was here in Kiowa, and I was hurting. I hurt my knee, and he was there to burden some of the pain, to pull me through things, to make me laugh. And we were at mile 20, or not mile 20, mile 10. And he goes, "Stop being a bitch, enjoy it." I said, "This is the worst fucking race I ever ran." He goes, "Well, this should be the worst race you ever ran." And you know what? From mile 10, and the motherfucker should have said it like a mile 1 instead of mile fucking 10, because there was only 3 more miles to go, but 3.1. Yeah. But he should have said it at mile 1. But he said, just enjoy the rest of it. Just enjoy if you're walking it. Just enjoy whatever it is, And that really, believe me, that group, that not group, but him and I becoming one, him saying this is what you need to do and coaching me through it. I can see that working at your meetings, at the beginning of your sessions. Absolutely. Have you seen that where people, like you said, people come in and then they're happy? Okay.
We have. Yeah. I mean, a lot of times when people come in initially, they're not like, I don't want to say they're not making eye contact, but sometimes you can tell they're very timid. And then once sitting with the group and seeing how welcoming everybody is, and it's really just, it's a good time. I mean, I'm a really laid back coach, and pretty goofy. So we get laughing. And I mean, even during the meetings are a bit more laid back than a 12-step meeting, in the sense there is some cross talking, depending on the size of the group. It's just it's a more laid back experience. I think that people seem to relax a bit. And then there's this sense of like team, like just this immediate sense of team, like people are helping one another. And so I have definitely seen that. Absolutely seen that.
And so if you're in the Charleston area, guys, if you're listening, we have a bunch of listeners in the Charleston area. Look up Maggie. How can everybody get a hold of you if they want to kind of see where everything is?
Yeah, so head on over to www.ironwolfrecovery.org, and we've got our schedule up on there. You can also shoot us an email for more information. We're pretty active on social media platforms as well. All that information is on our website. So that would probably be the best route to take to just start connecting with us.
And that'll be in the show notes. Bambi's probably writing down all this as we speak. So it'll all be in the show notes. And guys, if anybody's interested, in having Maggie look into your area doing this, please, also contact her that way also. Maggie, I thank you so much for coming on for our Higher Power Inspiration Month. That was definitely inspirational to me. And
absolutely,
only our higher powers can do what we're doing to help us get to do what we do today, and so thank God that we have our higher powers, and thank God I have my higher power in my life. But we really appreciate everything, and you're always welcome to come back. I always see you around town or in meetings or whatever, but you're very appreciative in the community here. And guys, please reach out to Maggie if there's anything that she, you guys can kind of think of for her. Beth, great show. Thank you so much.
Show. Maggie, thank you so much for taking it easy on us.
Well, thank you for having me. I think you guys did a wonderful job.
Without Bambi, we miss you.
Yeah, I miss you, Bambi.
We miss you. Get the hell back here, Bambi. Come on. No, but Beth, thank you for being a wonderful co-host. I think all three of us, you, me, and Bambi, we just kind of work well together. And, when one person falls off, we have to step up, just like we were talking earlier. Bambi had to go take care of something, and just because Bambi's gone, the whole show can't go, or just because I might not be here, the whole show can't go on. That's what we were just talking about earlier. We have to have each part of this to rely on. So thank you, Beth, for having us, relying on you and doing this. Well, that is it for the show, guys. Bambi, prayers to you and your family, and speedy recovery, and stay sober, everybody.
This concludes this episode of Friends in Recovery, the Addiction Recovery Podcast. Follow us on Facebook for past shows and updates, and enjoy free access to twice daily support meetings. Friends in Recovery, the Addiction Recovery Podcast, is available on Facebook, Podbean, iTunes, and YouTube 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.